Welcome back to the channel. We are doing yet another mock draft. It's that time of year. We're all here for it. I'll be picking from the 3 spot. My younger brother Carson from the 9. Say what's up to the people.
What's up to the people? I'm kind of nervous about picking from the 9, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know if I'm going to like this spot, but we'll find out soon.
Yeah, well, with that being said, we are doing a standard 12-team PPR league, minus kickers and defenses. I don't want to have to go through this every time, but I will continue to. Kickers and defenses add too much variance to the game, so we don't play with them, and neither should you.
It really is true. It really is true.
So with that being said, before we get into it, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. It would mean a lot to me. All right, let's get started.
All right. Let's see what the computer does. All right.
Christian McCaffrey and Jefferson off the board first. I'm happy taking Jamar Chase here. I think he's got similar upside to Justin Jefferson. Obviously, he's the premium at number 1. And then coming up to you, some pretty good options still.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to get Kittle here. Didn't happen, obviously.
You mean Kelsey?
And yes, could easily get Kittle here. I'd love to get Kelsey.
For sure.
So really, it's between, Diggs or Saquon, really. And I think I am going to go, I think I had both on my fantasy team last year. I'm going to go Saquon because I kind of dislike how the wide receivers, or I like how the wide receivers look here more than their running back options because I'm happy to take Devontae Adams.
Fair enough. I think that worked out for you just fine.
Yeah, and they're the same bye week, but honestly, I say this every draft I do. I try to pay attention to that, but I end up just not. And if I have a lot of people on that week, I lose that one week, and I have the rest of my team the rest of the season. So, it's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's actually something that really shouldn't determine how you draft. We're talking about bye weeks here. So, it's not as important as you might think.
Sure. Agreed.
So, I'm looking at here Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, or going to Chris Olave. Now, Derrick Henry's
or T. Higgins
getting old. Yeah, or George Kittle. Derrick Henry's getting pretty old. Tony Pollard has the opportunity, as of this recording, to be a 3-down back for a very competent Dallas offense. The problem is there's so many free agent running backs that have yet to sign with teams at this point, and I could certainly see Dallas, who wants to run the damn ball, picking up one of those guys to kind of chew into Pollard's role. So
yeah,
I'm not super thrilled with either of those, so I am, for that reason, going to go into my second wide receiver selection with Chris Olave. And then, well, they both go, so that is what it is.
Dang.
But now I'm picking between Stevenson, which I know you are a fan of, and I am as well. T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, and Najee Harris. I'm not really considering taking a quarterback right now, just based on how my team is so far. But I think looking ahead to what I can expect to see on my next pick, there are better wide receiver options than running back options, in my opinion. So I'm going to grab Ramondre Stevenson here as my first RB.
Yeah. Is he another place you're worried about a free agent running back going to, or less so than the other ones you talked about?
Well, no, I certainly could. I mean, that is a little hypocritical based on my second-round pick. However, Zeke and Fournette have both visited the Patriots, but nothing's happened yet. I kind of expect that nothing will happen based on that gap in time. So, yeah, I think really my biggest fear is that Zeke goes back to Dallas, we talked about on our last one, I think. And, I think that could be the most likely thing to happen.
I have a lot of good options here. I mean, I could take Hawkinson or Kittle, but more likely I'm deciding between ETN and T. Higgins, but I think I'm going to go T. Higgins. I'm liking getting him here.
Yeah, T. Higgins is one of my most drafted wide receivers on Underdog right now. So
yeah, and I would have loved to get ETN. I could get Mixon and go all in on the Bengals a little bit here, but honestly, I just love the fact that Calvin Ridley's here too. I'm going wide receiver heavy.
yeah, your wide receiver,
I'm going Calvin Ridley.
Your receiving core looks excellent right now. So
Yes,
I'm very happy for you right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Kittle made it to me. No, I'm just kidding. We'll let that go.
They did.
So I'm choosing between two really good quarterback options in Justin Fields and Justin Herbert here. The two Justins, if you will.
Yes.
And then beyond that, the question really becomes, hey, who's going to be available to me at tight end coming back around? So, with that being said, I'm going to grab Justin Fields here. I love his rushing upside. He could make improvements as a passer this season, which would be fantastic. And then here, I'm going to probably employ the hero RB approach, stick with Stevenson for a little while, and instead pick up DeAndre Hopkins as my third wide receiver.
Yeah. Dang it, no Alexander Madison. He's one I've been going for a lot.
Yeah, he is like a top target for you, for sure.
Yeah, he has been. Okay. This is interesting here. I guess I'm going later in quarter... Oh, T-Law's there.
T-Law
Go
long term.
T-Law, a few running back options. Going to cool off one receivers. Or Dallas Goedert. So, Team 12 could certainly take a quarterback. So I guess the decision is, do I want Goddard and then the potential, and if I don't get him to fall off at tight end a little bit, or do I want Trevor Lawrence and a little bit of fall off at quarterback? I think there are two quarterbacks past Lawrence that I'm okay with getting, but then do I not get a running back? This is a tough decision. I only have 2 picks here coming up, and I want 3 different positions.
Yeah, personally, I like the idea of pairing up Lawrence with his number 1 receiver in Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, and I think that is what is going to push me over the edge and get Lawrence. So I just need a little bit of reassurance.
Yeah, I think that's a good move, and then there's a chance that one of those 2 tight ends makes it back to you, and that's ideal.
Yeah, and they did, but I could get Cam Akers here, and that would be, I'd feel happy about him as my running back too. Let's evaluate this.
Yeah, I would just say look ahead to what's going to be available on your next pick and kind of decide from that.
Yeah, I think I would rather secure... I'd love to have Goddard, but I think I'd rather secure my RB2 here with Cam Akers. And we're going... There goes my guys.
I was hoping that they would make it back to me. One of them. That really stinks.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, I'm going to be taking... Now, I do like Marquise Brown this year. I think that he was a target monster last season before the injury. And obviously the downgraded quarterback for part of the year, at least, is going to be a detriment. But, I mean, it's a season-long game. So, at some point, that's going to change. And Marquise Brown, assuming he stays healthy, is going to retain that large target market share. So I like him this year, but I think I'm going to go ahead and grab Rachaad White since I already have 3 receivers.
Yeah, I like Rachaad White at where he's drafted at. His ADP is good.
Okay, now here I am going to... I'm going to reach a little bit because I do want to grab a tight end before I have to pick again. And with that in mind, I will be taking Evan Ingram, who has a wide range of outcomes based on how hot and cold we saw him last year. But you got to start a tight end in this league, and I'm gonna hitch my wagon to an elite offense in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think that's good, and I think Evan Ingram probably would have been my favorite option, but I already had Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley, so maybe not the move. Maybe if this was like daily fantasy or some sort of format like that, but season long, that's a little bit scary. I mean, it could pay off, but I'm going to just go with Freiermuth, and I was hoping he would get back to me since I was waiting a little bit longer on tight end. Like we've said before, we kind of label him as that last guy that you're sort of comfortable with to have as your tight end, so that's what he is for me.
Yeah, I think that's
And
fair.
I could get Deontay too.
There's quite a big gap between those next few players. I would think that is the call.
Yeah, I think it has to be. I mean, Antonio Gibson is enticing to give myself some running back depth, but I think my team's identity is banked on really good wide receivers, so let's get a really good bench option here too.
All right, so up next for me, lots of wide receivers looking at me. Brian Robinson and Jamal Williams and Penny kind of rounding it out towards my next pick expected. And I really don't need... I mean, I guess I'll grab a fourth receiver here. I'm thinking, based on who I have already, that among these players, I probably like Brandon Cooks the most. So I'm going to grab him. Again, based on just a high-quality offense. And I'm not quite convinced that last year was the sign that Brandon Cooks has fallen off as a receiver. And this may age poorly, like he may as well. But I'd like to think that with such a severe upgrade at quarterback with Dak Prescott versus Davis Mills, that Brandon Cooks has a little bit left in the tank. I mean, he's been a very reliable starter for his entire career. So that's kind of where I'm thinking with that. And then between Jamal Williams, who will probably okay, Kareem Hunt visited with them. Kareem Hunt also visited with the Colts. So it's kind of up in the air if Jamal Williams will be the guy while Kamara is serving his suspension. But I think, kind of for that reason, the ambiguity there, I'm going to go with Rashad Penny as my third RB. I think he's got a lot more touchdown upside long term for that season with the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's my rationale there.
Yeah, I like that. He's definitely someone I would have considered taking here had he fallen to me. All right. I think I'm in a position where I do want to take running back. I'm feeling good about my wide receivers, although I could start my streak of trying to go for Cortland Sutton and Alan Lazard like I've done in the other mock drafts, but I'll cool off on that. And I'm really deciding between... I've heard you talk good about him. And I think I'm going to get Devon A-Chain. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I think so.
I think him being my bench running back, the possibility that he could emerge as the top option in that backfield, I think that makes me happy. So that's why I'll go for him.
Yeah, fair enough.
I could, I'm feeling really, really good about my wide receivers. And they all have different bye weeks. So I might just hedge my bets again and go for another running back as my fourth running back, just because I'm trying to give myself some depth if Saquon or Akers were to get injured. And I think for that reason, let's see. I think I'm going to go for the PPR upside that we saw at the end of last season in Jerick McKinnon.
Oh, interesting. I don't mind that. I think Khalil Herbert has...
I was thinking Herbert. He was going to be the other one I was thinking about for sure.
I was just going to say, I think he has a good shot to be the starter just because he's the longest tenured running back in that team.
Yeah.
They signed Deontay Foreman, and they drafted rookie Roshan Johnson, but Khalil Herbert has shown, filling in for David Montgomery in seasons past, that he can certainly be a viable starter in fantasy. So
he certainly can. And if we get closer to the regular season, maybe that there's more clarity there, and he is the clear choice. So I see that being possible for sure. But right now, I was just liking the PPR upside.
So I'm kind of sensing a theme with my recent running back selections. I'm taking Damian Harris here, and it's goal line backs on really good offenses. So the touchdown upside is certainly there for those players. I'm good with that. And now on my next pick here, I'm looking for another wide receiver. I've got Adam Thielen, Rashad Bateman, Jacoby Myers, Sky Moore, lots of options here. And I think what I'm going to do is I think that Jacoby Myers probably makes the most sense for me. He's going to be on a pretty pass-heavy team in my estimate based on what's going on with Josh Jacobs and as well as Devontae Adams being there. I think that having an elite receiver opposite of him is going to help Myers just kind of fill in as a very serviceable wide receiver option.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's see how we're feeling here. I am going to take another rookie that I've heard you talk about, and I think that's a good opportunity. Jonathan Mingo is my wide receiver 5.
I like that pick. He's got all the upside to take over as the lead receiver in Carolina. He's only got a very, very old Adam Thielen to compete against, so I think the sky's the limit for that kid.
Cool. I like that. And then I think I'm going to take Rondell Moore. Just give myself some more wide receiver depth rather, and on guys that I like as potential flyers.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to take, on this next pick, I'm going to take Tank Bigsby. He's getting a lot of positive camp buzz, and I think that that's going to be a split backfield in Jacksonville. So obviously there are downsides to that, of course, but Bigsby is getting a lot of camp hype, and maybe that's a preseason pick, but I'm going to roll with it. And then moving on to my next pick, I've been targeting Jalen Hyatt a lot in best ball drafts especially, but I think that he's got that rookie upside that you're drafting at a discount, and if those players break out in year one, you've got an instant hit on your lineup. So that's a positive in my eyes.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Let's see here. I think I'm not in love with any of these options, honestly. Has there been any talk on where Leonard Fournette's going to end up? I feel like I haven't seen a whole lot recently.
Yeah, I think the last thing he did was practice or kind of did a tryout with the Patriots, but nothing materialized with that, and that was several weeks ago, I want to say.
Got it. Well, I'm seeing Kareem Hunt more in the news, so I'm going to take him here.
That's fair.
Seems like he's more likely to land somewhere soon and therefore be integrated in the offense come week 1, hopefully. And then, let's see. I guess we'll go wide receiver here. Or I could go Taysom Hill. That might be fun. No, I'm going to go my guy, Michael Gallup.
Yeah, your guy. Talk us through the rationale on that pick for us.
I think him being in the 14th round, and he has the potential. I mean, he's listed as the wide receiver 3. I think there's a possibility where Brandon Cooks just doesn't have it anymore, and Gallup is just the wide receiver 2. I think there's a possibility, and the fact that he's my pick in the 14th round, I'm fine of taking that risk, even if it's not a super high chance.
I mean, I would agree. There's a non-0% chance that Cooks doesn't have it in him anymore, but I think that in terms of upside, I would almost feel better taking a young player. But I mean, along the same. That's not.
He's not old man. He's not old man.
Anyway, I'm taking John Mechie. I took him in our first one. He's just a rookie flyer, or not a rookie flyer, but we didn't see him in his rookie season dealing with leukemia. But Alabama prospect. I've said it before, and someone who I can easily cut if they don't pan out. So
that's fair.
Let's drop the big screen here and let's do a team recap.
Yeah, you go first.
All right. So to start off my draft, I took Jamar Chase and Chris Olave. Rounded out my flex with DeAndre Hopkins, and then for bench depth, took Brandon Cooks, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Hyatt, and John Mechie. Lots of flyers on that second half there. Moving on to running back, Ramondre Stevenson, and then Rashad White in the 6th. I like that. Rashad Penny, Damian Harris, Tank Bigsby to round that out. Lots of touchdown upside in those offenses for sure. And then Justin Fields is my quarterback, and Evan Ingram as my tight end. Obviously, not thrilled with Evan Ingram. If he picks up where he left off last year, then this is a smash pick. But I could certainly see myself playing the tight end roulette on the waiver wire with this team. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that one.
Yeah, I like it. I sort of did the hero RB strategy, drafting Saquon and then getting Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, and then pairing up Trevor Lawrence of Calvin Ridley with my next pick, and then secured Cam Akers as my second RB, and then Fryer moved to end my starting lineup, and I'm liking how that starting lineup looks. And on the bench, I think I got good value of Deontay Johnson. Then I tried to give myself running back depth with Devon A-Chain and Jerick McKinnon. Now, I will say, if I could do it again, I probably would take Herbert over McKinnon, not just because of the reasons you said, because I was thinking about those reasons,
because of the bye week.
Because of the bye weeks.
I know.
And that's why you do these mock drafts. Akers, A-Chain, and McKinnon all have the same bye week. Not ideal. I probably would do it differently next time, but that's why you do this practice.
So I just want to jump in there for a moment, because I think you're looking at it the wrong way from this perspective. Don't ever let a bye week dissuade you from a player that you like more than a different one.
Yeah, but if I was kind of close between McKinnon and Herbert, and I think that is enough to sway me to one side, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, you and I both know that by the time Week 10 rolls around, this roster of yours that you've drafted here is going to look very different. So
that is very true.
So I think that
true.
it's a misnomer to get hung up on the bye week, and I just want to make sure that people understand that it's not the end-all be-all when you're drafting.
That's true, and you're kind of preaching to the choir on that one, because I used to be championing that during drafts, and I feel like I was extra beyond other people, but I think what we've realized that it is something not to worry too much about. But
yeah,
I don't know, for the depth I'm talking about, maybe that would have swayed me, but fair enough. And then I got some wide receiver flyers in Jonathan Mingo, Rondell Moore, and then went for Kareem Hunt, hoping he lands on a good spot for himself, and then ended the draft with Michael Gallup.
Yeah, maybe another team with a Week 10 bye, right?
That would be cool. That would be cool.
So anyway, that was the draft. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you all next week.
Peace out, everybody.